And I just turned on the recording. So everyone behave yourselves. Good morning. Thanks for attending our second session of the grant seminar. I'm Tim O'Donnell, the grants chair for this year, and with us also is Jeanette Loftus. I'd like to say hello to anyone who does not know you.
Good morning. It's good to see everybody on Zoom. Looking forward to when I can see you all in person.
That'll be in November, right? The district.
Vibrant Club Seminar.
That's what it's called. Thank you.
November 5th and district conference, November 6th, right?
That's correct.
Right.
Okay, so most of you are here because you've been approved for a grant and this is required, so you have to be here. Are there any auditors on the call today? They were invited, some of them were invited to attend. No, okay. This should take us, I think, less than half an hour, so we'll get you out quickly. There's the agenda. We're going to cover some important dates, run a video on how to submit your grant, talk about some reminders when you're doing your project, when you're done with your project, and then open it up for questions. So housekeeping, please remain muted unless you're intentionally speaking. If you have questions, you can put them in the chat session. If we can't get to them for some reason, then we'll contact you, the address on DACDB. If there's any really project specific questions that other people wouldn't learn anything from, we can maybe take that offline. And as this session is mandatory to receive reimbursement, we need to know who's here. We need to track the clubs that are here. So if you haven't done so already, in the chat session, please click the chat icon and then enter your club name hyphen your name without the Rotary Club of, just like an example, Flagler Beach hyphen your name. I've seen a couple of people have put in their, like, just the club name. Make sure you put the club and your name. And I'm gonna take that chat session and I'm gonna filter through it and turn it into a spreadsheet. So if you can do it in exactly that format, it would really help me a lot. So I appreciate that. All right. So important dates. For those of you that are in clubs that you submitted your grant before April 30th, you've already received your full authorization to go ahead from the Rotary Foundation. And as of July 1st, you can start spending money, you can do your projects. For grants that were submitted after April 30th, after we announced that we had some money left over, those have not received Rotary Foundation approval yet. They're approved by the district, but not RI. So you must wait until we receive that notification and we inform you of that before spending any money, okay? So please do not spend money if you're in that category. And overall, there's been 22 grants submitted and approved by the district, 17 before April 30th and 5 after. So most of you guys are in the first category. Submit your reports as soon as possible, but March is the last month where you can complete your projects and then submit your reports. If you finish your project in November, please don't wait till March to submit your report. Get it done as soon as possible, please. The auditors are volunteers. They have jobs, they have families. So we don't want all 22 coming in the last week of March. So appreciate that. Once your report is complete, submitted, and hold on, and everything looks good, then you'll get a reimbursement check, usually in a couple of weeks. So it doesn't take a long time to get your money back. All right, just show you a quick video on how to basically submit your report and what kind of stuff is needed.
Video, we will demonstrate how to document your completed Rotary District 6970 grant project and submit the information for final approval and reimbursement. This video assumes you have watched the Accessing the Grants page video and have a grant already submitted and approved. When your project is complete, you will need to upload your accounting for the project, including bank statements, a paper trail for all donations, receipts for anything purchased, and explanations for any deviation from the approved project. You also need to upload at least 3 photographs of the project. Action pictures of Rotarians at work are always appreciated, as well as pictures of the final result. If the project is is improving an existing site, before and after pictures are great as well. When you upload documents, please rename them on your local computer before uploading them. The uploaded file names cannot have any spaces or special characters. Please limit your file names to the letters A through Z, the numbers 0 through 9, and the underscore symbol. Use of other characters could prevent the auditors from viewing the files, resulting in the delay or denial of your reimbursement. It may seem like overkill, but it's a good practice to download all documents after your upload to make sure they can be downloaded and opened in the appropriate application. Let's upload our project pictures first. We open the grant by clicking the pencil icon. Then we move to the Documents tab. And we're going to put our pictures in the Images folder. Then click Upload File. Click Browse and find the image on your file system. And then click Upload File. And then you repeat this process for as many images as you want. We do require at least 3 images for your project. When you're done uploading the images, click the Home and then right next to the navigation to return to the top of the Documents folder. Now let's review how to submit your financial information. Creating an overview document that details your project is the most audit-friendly way to submit your final report. In this case, I used an Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to jump to that spreadsheet now. My spreadsheet contains the following information: the name of the lead club in the grant number, which can be found in the top of the grant page in DACDB. We list all the income sources, in this case $28,000 transferred from the Rotary Club of Flagler Beach's operating account to our grant account, and we document that with the bank statement from the grant account. And we have the Rotary Club of Flagler County's $9,000 check, which we also scanned and will be uploading. And then we list our expenses. We had a $500 deposit we gave the dealership, check number 123, and we have the receipt for the deposit and a scanned copy of the check. We had $36,000 on the balance of the van, check number 124, once again the receipt and the check number. And the last expense is for wrapping the vehicle. We estimated that at $500. It came in only at $400. In this case, the club member paid for it himself with a credit card, and this is a transaction to show that we are reimbursing him. Once again, we have the receipt and we have the check. So explain in detail why there's a check being written to a member. Also indicate why the cost difference. It's $100 less than was budgeted, and that's important for us to know. When my spreadsheet is complete, I save it, I return the DACDB, and I upload the appropriate files. So I upload the grant report spreadsheet. And then my supporting documents, I have the bank statement, which shows the 2 deposits and the 3 checks. I have the scanned check from the Flagler County Club to show that they did pay the money. I have the receipt for the balance of the van, the receipt for the deposit, and the receipt for the wrapping. I'm not going to make you watch me upload all the rest of the files, so I'm going to pause the video now. All right, as you can see, a bunch of documents have been uploaded. We have the canceled checks for the expenses. We have the Flagler County check, and we have the receipts for the expenses as well, all as documented in that spreadsheet. Since our final project numbers are different than the original budget approved by the District Share Committee, I must also update the Budget tab. Since the project is $100 under budget, we'll reduce the amount of the Flagler Beach donation by $100. And we'll also put in the actual expense of $400 for the wrap. And the cash flow is still zero. Please note that any changes in the final project budget may lower the amount of the district grant reimbursement. I'm now ready to tell DACDB the project is complete. To do this, click the Final Report tab. A lot of information is copied from your grant application, so this step is pretty easy. Review the answers to make sure they match the project as completed. The description should probably be the same. And put in how many people were actually helped by your project. I had indicated that no Rotarians would be helping, but it turns out that wasn't true. There were 2 fictitious projects. They created artwork and they shopped and negotiated with the dealer. And the rest, leave blank, it's all automatically filled in. Then click Save Final Report. And a PDF document of the report is saved in the Documents tab. It's just telling you that. And then you click Collect Final Signatures. That button will appear. Click this to submit your grant's final report to your club's leaders for approval. Once they electronically sign the grant, return to the club's grant page, edit this grant one more time, and click the Submit Final Report button, which is currently grayed out, but will be yellow when the signatures are signed.
Alrighty, I know that went through that kind of fast. If anybody wants to watch it again, when you look at the slides that are online, there's a link to the video. It's also in the grant overview page in DACDB, so you can look at the video anytime you want, watch as many times as you want. Any questions on what was in the video before I proceed? All right, hearing none. Some reminders of stuff to do while you're doing your project. That all invoices must be addressed to the grant's lead club. In the example that I used in the grant seminar 1, same one that I used for the video, we're buying a van for a homeless shelter. The invoices from the dealership must be addressed to the Rotary Club, not the homeless shelter. And they can have both names on them, but it has to be at least addressed to the Rotary Club. The checks must be paid to the dealer. You don't give the money to the homeless shelter and they give it to the dealer. It has to go directly to the dealer. Because we support organizations with grants by buying stuff for them or doing projects for them. We don't just give them money from the foundation. Also, pictures, we said before, pictures are great. If you're doing upgrade, action pictures are great. Completed project. If there's any issues with your project, if you're changing the scope at all, things like that, report them to me as soon as possible, please. We maybe go back to the share committee and see if they'll approve changes to the Rotary Foundation. And I'm not guaranteeing they will be approved, but they may be approved. But if you don't come to the grant committee for that, then your project you just may not get reimbursed. We'll say, sorry, you didn't do the project that you specified, so you're not going to get the money. So let us know if anything changes like that, or if you're not going to complete your project. If for some reason, whatever, the club decides not to do it, the organization you're going to help decides they don't want it, whatever reason, let us know. And as soon as possible, don't wait until the end of March to let us know, because then at that point, it'd probably be too late for another club to be able to use those funds. So if you do it early, you're helping another club in the district who can do a grant.
Tim?
Yep.
Just to interject here, and sometimes when we do projects, we estimate the cost and the budget ahead of time. And sometimes those projects come in under or over budget. But it's important, as Tim had indicated, that the grant be executed as approved. So if it comes in under budget, that doesn't give you more money to spend on something else. And if it comes in over budget on certain items, you can't come back to the share committee and say, well, it's costing us more, than we thought it was. Do you have any more money? So, try to use those estimates as closely as possible.
And also on that note, if you're doing, say, a $5,000 project total, and you manage to save some money and you end up with a $4,000 project, if it was a 50% match that we're doing, you will be reimbursed half of what you did. You'll get $2,000 reimbursed, not the $2,500. It's a percentage match, not a dollar value match. There was one question in the chat session: do we need a separate bank account for each grant? No, you do not. You don't need one. If it's a simple project and it's just, you're writing a couple of checks and you're using it out of your existing club funds, then you don't really need a bank account. You just have to make sure you have a nice spreadsheet that details all the income you're getting and all the expenses, and we'll need your bank statement for your whole club. If you do a lot of grants, if you're a club that applies for a grant every year, it's good to have a separate grant account, even for just those little projects, little few checks. But if you have an involved grant where you're getting funds from 4 or 5 different clubs and other donors, and you're writing lots of checks and things like that, then it's good to have the separate bank account. So you only have to get one bank statement. It helps the auditors not have to go through, if you have a big club and a lot of expenses in your club on a regular basis, we don't have to sort through the expenses of your club to figure out which ones are grant and which ones aren't. But if you do that, make sure you highlight which ones are grant expenses. Alrighty. So,
And Tim, there's another question in the chat from Ed Book of downtown Gainesville. Line items may be over or under if the total remains approximately the same. Is that okay?
I would say yes, in a reasonable amount. Like if you're buying, I don't know, landscaping stuff, and some railroad ties you're getting to put down are a little more expensive, but the mulch is a little less expensive, that's fine. But if you were doing a project, I don't know, like in the example I used for the buying the homeless van, if you say, oh, we're going to buy a used van and we're going to only pay $30,000 for it, but we want to do a fantastic full wrap and put more advertising on it, we're going to spend $5,000 on something else, then that's not okay. So just use your best interest. If you think if it's a major change to the project, then no. If it's a tiny little expense thing, that's fine.
Or run it by you and myself.
Yeah.
Just for our approval. Yeah.
Right.
A good example may be paint. The paint vendor is more, the carpet vendor is less in total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't say, instead of carpeting, we're going to put in marble floors instead. And reporting requirements. I think it said in the video that the top level document's a great idea. It really helps the auditors. It's considered a requirement for the top level. You have to have a top level document. The projects that have done it in the past, they've been easy to do. They've been clear, concise. Audits have been easy. The ones that don't do it, it's a royal pain. So it's now a requirement that you have a top level document. It can be a Word doc, a spreadsheet that has what the expenses were, what the income was, the names of the document that verify those income and expenses, just like in the spreadsheet I showed, but it is required. Make sure you save receipts for everything and scan all your receipts and upload them. And you obviously use the same file names that were in the documents. Canceled checks and bank statements. You also need canceled checks for like donations from if you get money from other clubs coming into your club, get canceled checks from them as well for their donations to the project. Once again, just to reiterate, file names, alphanumeric characters only and underscores, no spaces, no ampersands, no asterisks. This is going to sound really picky, but make sure you change the name on your computer before you upload the document. DACDB, I'm not sure if it still does. I'll need to double check this, but at one point, if you had a document labeled ABC on your computer, you uploaded it, changed the name to XYZ. When the auditors downloaded that document to look at it on their computer, it would download as ABC. And they're looking for XYZ because that's what's in your document and they can't find it. It caused massive confusion. So rename it before you upload. And as the video said, after you upload it, download it once just to make sure that it can be downloaded. That's why we're so picky about the naming conventions, is that if you put certain characters in the file, then they can't be downloaded and the auditors can't see them. In the past, they've gone back to the clubs and say, hey, we need that document, and they can't find it. It's on someone's computer who left the club. So on image sizes, either for the image pictures of the projects, or if you're scanning documents, or if you're taking a picture of a check and upload it, make sure that they're not tiny little images. We've seen some that are as small as like 10K, really tiny pictures. Make sure they're probably at least 100K. So if we want to put them in a document or put them on the website, we can. Avoid using images that are texted to you. Someone will take a picture of a check and text it to their treasurer, who then uploads it to the grant project, and it ends up being a little image that we can't read. So try to avoid that. Make sure after you upload it, if it's an image, open it and see that it fits the screen and we can see it. We didn't really cover interim reports. Most projects are done, you do the project, you submit one report, and you get reimbursed. There is a possibility for an interim report if you have a larger project. It's like a construction draw, where you might be 1/3 or halfway through the project, and you'd like to get reimbursed for what you've done, your portion for what you've done, so you can continue the project. That is possible. It's basically the same process, that instead of the interim tab, instead of the final report tab in DACDB, you click the interim tab, and also then create a folder named interim, and then put the reports there. But contact me if you need to do that, and I'll walk you through it. One other note on that I didn't mention, that top level document, name it something like grant report, something really obvious, but don't put the word final in it. Don't call it final report. Don't call it interim report if you're in interim. Once you put that word in the document, DACDB won't let, you can't delete it. You can't edit it anymore, because it looks for those kind of words for their generated documents. So don't do that. Was there a question? Okay. Somebody asked if I can show the spreadsheet again. Yes, I can. I can also send it out. If I have time, I'll do that real quick, see if I can get that part of the video.
Wrapping.
Okay. Somebody wanted to take a screenshot of that. Did you get it? Okay. Charlie, did you get it? Charlie, iPad. Okay. Yes, he got it. Okay. So if you have any questions, here's my contact information. It's also on the top of the chat session. Hold on, before I do anything else, I want to copy I need to save the chat session. Hold on. All right. Contact me, cell phone, email, however you want to get a hold of me. It's great. Jeanette's an expert on this stuff too, but I do request that you contact me first. And then if there's any issues we can't resolve, we can escalate it to Jeanette. She's busy with a bunch of other foundation stuff and other district stuff. So please bug me first. And then a PDF can be downloaded from that link on that page. It's also in the chat session. And all the projects you guys are doing are great projects. And there's some that I really love. So I just ask everyone, if you're having a ribbon cutting, you're having a meeting at the place you did the project, please send me an invitation. I'd love to see it. And if you don't object, I'll send it to the whole share committee in case they want to see it. It'd be kind of fun for me to go out and see some of the projects that you guys have worked on. I appreciate it. So questions?
Well, and also invite DG Coop to those sessions, and of course, and myself, for those photo ops and ribbon cutting ceremonies. And we are here. We are here for one reason, and that is to support the clubs, to do good in your community. So let's share in that celebration. So, and Tim's available, and I'm available to come out to the clubs and talk about, potential grants that might be coming up, that you might be putting together for the next Rotary year. Use us as a resource.
Absolutely. Abuse us as a resource.
Well, abuse him.
All right. What other questions? Any questions? All right, and if questions pop up after this, you know how to find me. I'm always available.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, all set. Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.